Hey fellow frag heads and fragrance lovers, how you doing today? Happy to see you pop by. Today we're going to be talking about the house of Guru. This is a fragrance called Sensation. Now this is a fragrance that's completely under the radar. Almost nobody knows about this house, and I'm happy to bring it to you today. So what are the notes? What do we got ourselves into? This is a fragrance with some cocoa, some vanilla, some dried fruits, and some tobacco. That's mostly what you're getting in this fragrance. Those are the big players. Those are the big accords. Yes, there's some woody tones. Some people might be able to pick up on some other notes, but I think the tobacco really is the biggest player in this fragrance, and it's quite an interesting tobacco. It's almost a fruity tobacco. The dried fruits add a very calming, deeper sweetness, but yet the tobacco comes off as almost like more floral, but it still has some depth to it. And there's this fragrance, the vanilla is very much in the background, a darker vanilla, and the woodiness really adds a really nice, smooth sophistication to this fragrance. There isn't leather in this fragrance, but you know, if you are not too familiar with leather, perhaps you could almost get some leathery nuances with the, you know, the rich tobacco and the rich woods and the deeper, almost like woody aspects of the vanilla going into this fragrance as well. So this is a darker fragrance, but yet it's fresh. It almost has a boozy feel, and I almost get a licorice type feel. Now you might be asking yourself, why does this fragrance exist? This might sound strange. You might not have experienced or heard about a fragrance like this. You'd be amazed about how charming this fragrance is. We'll get to the compliment factor a little bit later on, but guys, this is a charmer of a fragrance. This is not the same, but has a similar dark, rich, smooth sweetness to things like Tom Ford's Noir Extreme, which is an absolutely gorgeous fragrance, amazing for the date night. A little bit closer to the skin, a little bit more sophisticated coming off, and is definitely very well balanced as a composition, even though it does perhaps lean a little bit on the darker side of things. So, really gorgeous fragrance. Really well done. I can, if I was to put a story to this fragrance real quick to explain this fragrance, I can imagine a Middle Eastern company. You know, this is a Middle Eastern fragrance. You know, they sit down and they decide, how can we make a seductive fragrance, a date night fragrance, a tantalizing fragrance, and make it yet wearable. And we also want our Middle Eastern qualities about it, but yet we want to sell it to the Western markets. So we want it to be sweet enough, and we want it to have almost boozy nuances with the dried fruit coming through. And we want you know, complexity, but yet we want to have that tobacco adding that dry, a little bit of that dry quality and almost that Middle Eastern flair with the tobacco kind of being prominent, but yet floral and yet woody, and there's a, you know, make it a beauty. I can really imagine that happening, and I really think that comes through. Again, I don't think that there's licorice in this fragrance, but the woody aspects and that dried fruit and this interesting floral sweetness almost gives you a little bit of a taste of licorice to this fragrance. So I find that interesting. A dark boozy, little bit of almost a licorice quality hiding underneath all these beautiful, rich, sweet, boozy notes and the tobacco, of course. Really, really nice fragrance, guys. I can't speak highly enough about this one. Very well done, very well blended, and this is a hidden gem and really great for the date night. So maybe if you're a Middle Eastern guy, maybe if you're from India, maybe if you have more, you know, better access to this fragrance, or maybe if you really like Middle Eastern style fragrances, this one would be really worth seeking out. And I got this for an amazing deal. We'll talk about the price here in a second too, but guys, this one is worth seeking out if these notes sound good to you at all. If it sounds like something you might enjoy, I think that you'd like it, especially when you can get it at an amazing price. So, performance-wise, I get a 7 to 9 hours, but it almost, at first, it seems like it's a very dark fragrance. At first, it seems like it's going to be heavy, but as time goes on, you know, the darkness subsides a little bit, and this fragrance almost feels, it doesn't become an incense fragrance, but it almost wants to perform and project and have an airiness like an incense fragrance, if that makes sense. And that tiny bit of incense in the background kind of comes a little bit to the forefront, not completely. It doesn't become a dry, soapy incense, nothing like that, but it almost has a little bit of that quality kind of supporting it as the fragrance goes on. So it's sophisticated, it's seductive, it's clean, it's dark, it's sweet. It's got a lot of good stuff going on. And this is, so projection-wise, I almost jumped into the compliment factor there, but guys, I get about average projection, but the sillage is really here in a good way. So when you walk past people, if you sit somewhere, or you're at work, or I don't think this would be office appropriate, but perhaps if you're your co-workers know that you're about to go out on the town at a Friday night or something like that, maybe you could get away with it. But this is a really nice fragrance. Sillage above average, projection maybe a little bit more average, but the performance, I mean the longevity 7 to 9, so above average overall, solid performance. And also again, when you have a date fragrance, when you're going to be close to that significant other, that special person, you don't want a fragrance that shouts. You don't want a fragrance that's in their face, and this would be very appropriate, when you're going to be closer to that person. So, but it's not a skin scent. It's not weak by any means. So, anyways, really nice fragrance. Compliment factor wise, I do have to say that this really helped me smell distinguished. This is a fragrance that I connect to. I like fragrances like this. The dark, complex, interesting, but yet have something playful about them. I tend to really reach for these fragrances, and I tend to gravitate towards them with my personality. It's very well done, and with how it makes me feel and how I come across, this is fragrance. It can definitely be, come off as mysterious, and trust me guys, if you have that personality, and if you can come off as mysterious, that really helps you in, dating wise. So, Sensation, it's sensational. It's named Sensation for a reason. It can help you feel really nice and also help other people feel nice. And licorice, if you look into the note, also can have some nice qualities about it. So, really nice fragrance overall, guys. Again, unexpected beauty, unexpected fragrance. And again, I don't hear a lot of people talking about that soapy, almost incense quality in the background of the fragrance. And I do find that really adds an interesting twist on this fragrance as well. So overall, my final thoughts with the price and the value and everything going on, I was lucky enough to pick up this bad boy for about 60 bucks, and this is a niche fragrance. This is not a cheapie, so if you pay full retail for this one, if you do find it in a store, this is about a $180 fragrance. But I have seen these liquidated. I have seen almost the whole range. I think they have about 7. I've seen at times where there was about 5 of them available for about $60. So if you are able to find one of these for $60, and you might say, hey, that's not a cheapie, that's not a $20 fragrance, that's not a $30 fragrance, I don't know if I want to take a risk on a $60 fragrance. Again, if you want to step into the niche world, this is a really good way to go. If you do know that you do like tobacco, if you do know that you like darker, sweet fragrances, for 60 bucks, I'm blown away. This is an amazing value, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection, and I think that you would enjoy it as well. If you like things like John Varvatos' Dark Rebel, this is not the same fragrance, but I personally prefer this much better, and I prefer this much over Dark Rebel by John Varvatos. Some people might say that this is almost a niche interpretation of that fragrance. There could be some similarities, drawn between the two fragrances. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Those are my final thoughts. I think I gave y'all a good overview. Hopefully I made sense. Let me know how I did, and let me know if you like this video by liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, sharing the video, and telling a friend. So thank y'all so much for being here today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm happy that, and I hope that I introduced you to a beautiful fragrance, something that you might not have known about, a real hidden gem, not a fragrance that everybody knows about, and this is seriously worth looking into, guys. This is seriously worth your money, a great value, especially at 60 bucks. So check it out. Thank y'all so much for being here today. I really do appreciate your love and your support, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Wear what you love, rock what you got, and stay beautiful out there, my friends. Peace out, and bye.